Yeah, good morning to all. Today I will be giving some insights into this huge project called Aadhaar in India, and I will take the journey of this. I joined this Aadhaar project during 2010 when it was just started, and I saw how it grew and how it has reached till today. So I will just give you the scheme of the presentation today. So a segment which will cover the overview, the how and the reason why Aadhaar is very important to India. Then the technical details of the enrollment process, and then the how it is going to be implemented and rolled out finally. Just a small detail on the Unique Identification Authority in India was established under Planning Commission in 2009, and in 2009, sometime in July, August, the chairman, Mr. Nandan Nilekani, he joined. He is one of the founder of very big IT setup in India, Infosys. He was one of the founder, and then he left Infosys and joined Unique Identification Authority of India to roll it out. And the idea was to give the identity to all the residents in India. Now, I'm not using the word citizen because citizenship in India is at times a very different kind of issues are there. The people who have come from the neighboring countries, there is a process which takes place for the citizenship. So the process of enrollment in unique ID has been a little bit broad-based. So anybody who is in India having the stay for 6 months or so can get Aadhaar number, that is the unique ID number. And idea is it's a biometric based ID, which is an online kind of ID. So it will be a very transactional based, it will be very cheap, cost effective, and it's going to be very, very ubiquitous kind of authentication system which will be there. Why do we need Aadhaar? Why do we need an ID system in India kind of situation? I tell you that 1.2 billion people in a country, it's a huge number. And most of them, we have the data which says that 650 million do not have access to organized banking. They don't have any bank account, or they are dependent on those local money lenders and those kind of system which may be very fleecing type, which may be very, very overburdening on them. So at the same time, they are poor, but they are part of the system which will be very exploitative. At the same time, a good number of people do not have any document to prove who they are. They don't have a date of birth document, they don't have a ration card, they don't have any other kind of which we call the voter identification card, or any other system by which they can prove that they are who they are. So it was thought that it is better to have an identification system, it is better to have an ID for the people who do not have any ID. And that is the purpose why it was set up under the Planning Commission and not under any kind of regulatory and law and order kind of system. So Unique Identification Authority of India is a part of the Planning Commission which is supposed to target the marginalized and poor people of India to reach to them in a very seamless and faster manner and to target them in the perfect fashion. Now here when we say that why this is required from a government side or from the welfare side, it is required because the system is so porous. The people can become part of the welfare benefit more than once. I can be KK Sharma, I can be Kishan Kumar Sharma, I can be Sharma KK, and all these things I can become part of the same benefit system because the system does not have this, the wherewithal to weed out the duplicates, weed out the fake, weed out the ghost entries. And that is where the biometric based unique ID comes into picture. If I have given the Aadhaar number, which is a 12 digit, and I become part of one of the system, Now, I can't come back and give any other name and to become part of it again. So the system is to duplicate and fakes will be weeded out. And if I'm not part of the system, I can claim it. Because I'm having a unique number, I can go to the service delivery mechanism and can tell them, I'm not part of your system. I'm one of the possible and potential beneficiary. Please include me. So I can claim this as a right because the system is able to identify and verify, yes, so-and-so with this Aadhaar number is not part of my delivery system, not part of my welfare system. I tell you the scope. In India, we are having hundreds of welfare schemes. Pension schemes are there, scholarship schemes are there, the schemes for women which are required to support them during the pregnancy, during the child rearing, during the education time, during the old age, during medical, and all those type of schemes are there to take care of the people in a particular kind of need. There are other kinds of schemes which we call them the subsidized schemes. For example, in India, we have got a LPG scheme, liquefied petroleum gas, which is used for the cooking purpose at domestic. Now, these kind of schemes, the cost is very high. A LPG cylinder, we call it, which is 14 point some kg, and it costs to the government some 900 rupees. But it is sold to the individual customers, the domestic purpose, for 420 rupees, 421 rupees. So there is a lot of subsidy which is there. Similarly, there is a subsidy on the fertilizer. There is a subsidy on the seeds. There is a subsidy on the diesel. So all these subsidies, if we see these two things, the welfare schemes and the subsidized pricing, the annual budget of subsidy in India is $46 billion. And the mechanism is such by which the delivery mechanism is not able to weed out, duplicate, fakes, the non-entitled persons, and people are able to sneak in to siphon or take the benefit from the system. So the scope of $46 billion annual budget of subsidies or the benefits, if I feel that there is a 10% leakage, and with the help of the Aadhaar, if I'm able to at least prevent a part of it, the scope is almost $5 billion annually. And I will share some details that one Aadhaar generation is, in dollar terms, it will be very, very small amount. I will give that detail. Now, what is the Aadhaar? In Aadhaar, what we have done is, we normally in any government scheme, and I think I can say even for the SSN, Social Security Number of US, where the idea is to collect many informations of the individual, from where, who is the father, who is the son, and all that kind of thing, what education, what income, and then. In Aadhaar, we have done a very simple, small number of information which we are collecting. Very, very small information which we are collecting. And we don't want to get into the empire building kind of situation. It is a very simple project where we are working on a very slim infrastructure layer. Now you see what we do. We just give a 12-digit number. It's a numerical number. It is randomly generated. That means by looking at number, I can't say whether the person belongs to A category, belongs to A region, belongs to literate or illiterate, or a male or female. So it's just a stupid number, 12-digit number. And this number, as I'm saying, it is a random number. There is no intelligence in that. What it does is, it is based on biometrics. So I will show you the process of what we collect as a part of the enrollment. And because it is based on biometrics, we are able to ensure that one set of biometric cannot get two Aadhaar numbers. So that means if I go and give my enrollment detail, I will get one Aadhaar number. If I go some other time and give my details again, it will be rejected as duplicate. That means this set of biometrics has already received to the Aadhaar backend, and it is not to be reissued a Aadhaar number. So by that, we are able to ensure that biometric-based ID is unique, issued once in a lifetime. Once Aadhaar number is done, it is issued once for all. Although we do some updations, it is available for everybody. Even an infant child can have the Aadhaar number. Although we don't capture the biometric for them, because the child biometric, up to 5 years we don't capture. After 5 years only we capture the biometric. So up to 5 years we link the Aadhaar number of the child with the parent or guardian. It is cost effective. As I'm saying, we don't profile anything and we don't guarantee any benefit. Now I will tell you why we have taken that position. It is a very difficult position because at the same time I'm saying it is very useful, it is required for delivery, it is required for that, it is required for targeting, but at the same time I'm saying that Aadhaar as such will not guarantee any benefits because the benefit giving is by the particular domain. Suppose the Food and Civil Supplies Department wants to give the ration card to the residents. They will identify whether this person needs what kind of ration card. We have got 2-3 types of ration cards where the person can go and claim some provisions from the state outlet. He may be a below poverty line person, so he may receive X number or X kg of grains and X kg of this or something. Similarly, if he is not a below poverty line, he may receive just some small requirement of his can be met through this. There is a category which is known as much below poverty line, extreme poverty. There the number of kg of grains is very high. That means the entire demand of the family can be met through this provision. So the domain person will decide how much and what kind of category to be given. The Aadhaar will only give the support to weed out the fakes, to weed out the duplicates, and to target the individual beneficiaries along with the family kind of setup. As I was telling that we collect minimal information. We collect just 4 fields which are mandatory. We collect name, age with the date of birth if it is there, the sex, and the first time in Government of India project we are capturing transgenders also. And then the address of the resident. The address of the resident is also so that he receives the card back. We don't issue any card. We just give an intimation through a piece of paper which we call Aadhaar letter, and it is the purpose to intimate the Aadhaar number to him. So we are not issuing any smart card. We are not issuing any kind of plastic card. It is just actually it is 1/3 of the A4 sheet which we are communicating to the resident with the number and some basic details of the resident. If the resident is having, we collect his email, phone number, mobile number, and some consents, whether he consent to give the data to the state for some welfare benefits, or whether he wants to open a bank account. So this is one thing which we have included right at the time of enrollment, because the very large number of population in India does not have the access to banking. We took their option of opening the account right at the time of enrollment, because Aadhaar is going to be a complete KYC, know your customer norm, which we call in the financial terms. So Aadhaar is a complete KYC norm. So once the Aadhaar number is generated, we are able to tell the banking sector, please open a bank account for him. And he will be approached by the local bank, say that now your bank is opened, account is open, you please activate it. So this is one very hard-coded this combination we have developed, where to make everybody part of, actually in India we have got a Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank for India, and we call it RBI. The RBI has put a mandate to have the financial inclusion for the major part of the population. So the FI mandate, we are serving that FI mandate as a consequence of rolling out the Aadhaar project. Because reaching that remote corner in a village, in a hamlet, to take his consent for issuing the Aadhaar, as well at the same time to give the bank account, is huge. because the person is not approached by many agencies even in his lifetime. So at least now, the project is going to reach him. So this is the time to find out whether he wants to open the bank account, so that in future, when the benefits will flow, they can go seamlessly to his account. And there is a re-engineering in that. The re-engineering is that the Aadhaar is the bank account number also. That means the backend knows that this Aadhaar number means this bank account. Yeah, you want to say?
So would an Aadhaar card be enough in terms of providing identification for banks? So somebody was opening up a bank account. They don't have to show their passport or
nothing.
any other identification, and Aadhaar would simply do.
Yeah. In case of Aadhaar, if your address of the account is the same as mentioned in the Aadhaar letter, then you don't need anything else. Because there is a possibility that when the Aadhaar letter is issued, the address might have changed to the resident meanwhile. Like I got Aadhaar for address A, but I moved to another city, I moved to another location. In that case, bank may ask you to give some address proof, but they will not ask you ID proof, because ID proof is Aadhaar. But if you want to use it as a complete KYC, in that case, your address should also be the same as it is mentioned in the Aadhaar letter. In that, that is how it is. Now, because it is once in a lifetime, the quality of enrollment data is very, very critical in this. So we are capturing two types of data. One is demographic data, name, age, and all. And second is the biometric data. Now, once the data is captured and it is moved for the backend, you can see that what we do is, I think I'll just do one more thing. In the biometric data, what we do is we take a photograph, we take 10 fingerprints, and they are taken in, I think your US visa system is also like this, where it is 4, 4, and 2. So we also take the same process, 4 left, 4 right, and 2 thumbs together. And then the 2 iris. Now iris is, if you see the iris is not the retina, it is not cornea. It is the front of the eye, which has got a huge number of design and patterns. And the design and patterns create a unique identifier for each iris. And the fingerprint is like, I think India associated itself to the usage of fingerprint in the very, very long back during British time. They wanted they call it LTI, left thumb impression. This LTI used to be like a, forcing the person, he can't deny that it is not his LTI. So fingerprint is there. Now why we wanted the fingerprint as well as the iris? If you see the fingerprint, the minutiae point we call it, that is the point where it gets differentiated from one fingerprint to another fingerprint. And each person, 10 fingerprint means these are 10 types. These are not same. Even for one person, it doesn't mean that my 5 fingers are same type. No, each one is different. So the fingerprint has got not enough numbers of the differentiation to give a unique ID to 1.2 billion people. There was a possibility that at some point of time, the differentiation would not be possible, I'm saying in terms of the computers. The system which is used to differentiate and saying that this set of fingerprints are different from this set of fingerprints, there's a possibility that for 1.2 billion people and going forward maybe 1.5 and 2 billion over a period of maybe 20, 30 years. So we wanted another good biometric which can give that kind of support to keep on issuing the ID number to billions of people without actually repeating the chances of giving the number to the same kind of setup. I'm saying from the computer point, there is a software which we require. Now, when we do the Aadhaar generation, what we do is we run that new data set vis-a-vis the gallery of the Aadhaar. So suppose today, I checked up my website, we have issued 592 million Aadhaar. 592 million Aadhaar have already been issued. So when I'm taking the next data set and when it comes in, I'm comparing this new record with the gallery size of 592 million. So this we call it generation of Aadhaar based on 1:n comparison. So n is my gallery size. So when I issued the first Aadhaar, I just say it is unique because it is the first, and I just gave the Aadhaar. When I do the next one, I compared with the first one. And today, the system is comparing the next set of record with 592 million records. And it is going to be much more complex and complex going forward. There's another important data point is, what do you mean by authentication? Now, I do authentication. I've got an Aadhaar number. I go to an authentication mechanism. Suppose I want to open the account, and bank has the feasibility of doing the authentication. So they have got a small point of sale kind of device. So I feed my Aadhaar number, 12-digit number, give my fingerprint to this. Now this data set goes to my backend. And from there, a reply comes yes or no. So suppose I used Ghulam's Aadhaar and put my biometric, it will become as no. And if I give my Aadhaar with my biometric, it will come as yes. Not more than that. It won't say it is Kishan Kumar Sharma. It won't say that presently he's doing CAS in Syracuse. It won't say all that. It just say yes or no. So we are communicating in a very, very minimal information to enable that service delivery mechanism to extend this service based on saying yes or no to give a benefit of authentication. So when I say I'm KK Sharma or Kishan Kumar Sharma and this is my Aadhaar, system knows yes, he is the same guy. Second is whether I want a loan, the bank will do its due diligence, whether I'm loan worthy or whether I just want to open a small account, they may say, okay, open the account. So it is up to the service delivery mechanism to extend the service. So identity is just to give the authenticated version of person who is taking the service, who he claims to be, whether it is correct or not. That happens 1:1 because there is an Aadhaar number and a biometric goes. So that does not do with the entire gallery. It just goes with my Aadhaar number and that biometric, and it says yes or no. Actually, it does some other verifications also. Now, what is happening? Aadhaar is inclusive process. If you see that the entire system is very, very simple. I'm giving a data set. The system is running at the back end, some verifications and validations, giving me the Aadhaar number. I'm not having any chip-based card. I'm not having any smart card. I just being communicated my Aadhaar number. Actually, that letter is also not required. I just know my number. I know my 10-digit mobile, so I can know my 12-digit Aadhaar number also. Not a big thing going forward. That is what we assume. So when a 12-digit Aadhaar, so where is the identity? Now with that 12-digit Aadhaar, this is my identity. The system, if it is prevalent all across at the service delivery mechanisms, I can go to any system and say, this is my Aadhaar, this is my biometric, please verify who I am. So I don't need any smart card. I don't need any kind of physical form, because physical form of cards or IDs can be duplicated, can be compromised. But although technology can do that, but it will be very, very difficult to compromise on the biometric authentication. I'm not saying it is impossible, but it will not be easy. It will be very, very difficult to compromise on that. When I'm having the Aadhaar and the biometric-based authentication, I can do all this from the delivery mechanism of the services. Now, presently, our authentication mechanism is all around. We are able to do authentication with the point-of-sale machines, that is small machines. We are able to do the authentication with the help of the computer terminals. We are able to do it with the link the bank account. We are able to do with universal ID is the idea that it is a now 600 million is going to be the anytime, maybe another 10 days time. So this is our target up to December 2014. And I think in India, this will be one of the very few projects, if it is not the only one, which has overachieved the timeline by not less than 9 months. The number of IDs which were supposed to be issued by December 2014, that is the 600 million, half of the population, we will be able to achieve by maybe 10th of March. Today is 592 million, so another 8 million, and our daily rate is around 1 million plus a day. we generate 1 million Aadhaar numbers a day, minimum. So what is Aadhaar? Now you see, normally in UIDAI, Unique Identification Authority, we compare the ID Aadhaar number with like a communication revolution. In India, around 20 years back or 25 years back, the landlines, the telephone lines used to be in a very, very restricted manner. One has to wait for months to get a telephone. Then the mobile revolution came. And people who did not have access to the landline, suddenly everybody has got the mobile. So we call it a leapfrog communication. There is a leapfrog jump. And that jump was that a person who was not having any communication link with the landline is keeping the mobile. A vegetable vendor, a normal iron man who does the iron of the clothes, and all those low kind of workers who do not have access, they do not know technology, they just receive calls, say, I'm coming. The business process of India has changed over a period when the mobile revolution came. Similar thing we are expecting it happens with the Aadhaar. People did not have access to the physical IDs, but now they are having an online ID. An ID which they can take with them and which will be accepted by the system. Right now what happens, I have got a ration card from one state of India. If I go to other state and I want to prove my ID, the person may say, I don't know. I have to get it verified from that place. It may take a week, it may take 10 days, it may take 1 month. Now, the system is that this ID is across India. It creates the mobility, and with the economic growth of India, the mobility in India is so high, not even in the lower sectors like the laborers and migrant workers, even in the higher complex jobs like IT. People in IT sector are moving all around India and all around the world. So if a person who is well educated from like IIT kind of, there is one of the technical institute, and he is from Delhi and goes to Bangalore, he faces the same kind of problems which a worker faces when he moves from one of the backward state to any of the city. So this is the mobility and accessibility which is giving Aadhaar to everybody who is becoming part of the system. As I'm telling that this is the know your customer norm, it is satisfying. All these services have already started giving the benefits based on Aadhaar. So one can go and become part of the LPG database by showing his Aadhaar number and share that detail. So they can take a LPG connection, they can take a phone connection, they can take the ration card, they can open the bank account. It is the ID while you are traveling in train, sometimes when you, the TC comes and ticket checker wants your ID, so the Aadhaar is, so all these things are happening already. What happens? Because Aadhaar is unique, it cannot be duplicated for a person. If I start taking Aadhaar in my database as a service delivery department, I will move out all the redundant entries, which may be fake, which may be duplicate, which may be obsolete. Like what happened in ration card, which is a food and civil, that civil supplies kind of thing. People move on without informing the department that I have moved on. That entry exists. And that entry exists, on that particular entry, the shop owner may keep on taking the ration from the system. But with the Aadhaar, it's not possible. When the person moves out and he goes to another area and becomes part of the system will trigger that remove this from the previous entries. So with the help of Aadhaar, one can clean the scheme database, existing database. It creates better delivery in the sense that right now a family has got the entitlement to take the provisions from a particular shop. In future, there is a possibility that one person from that family has moved to some other location. He can still have, by showing his Aadhaar and getting authenticated. So the concept of mobility of entitlement is also moving. Increased access and transparent. Transparent means earlier getting the benefit, a person has to really struggle. Now they know that my Aadhaar is unique. Please find out if I'm there in the system. If I'm not there, I'm entitled. Please give me. He can get it as a right, which is not possible in the physical systems. And no, again, this is a very new thing which has been done by Government of India and UIDAI. Normally, all government systems, a new project comes, the idea is to create own empire. I should be the biggest. I should have my own thing right up to the last point. But UIDAI was the first organization, I can say, which was having the mandate to have a staff strength of 900, but we decided deliberately not to exceed 500. Even if there is a mandate to have the 900 people, the internal setup says, no, we don't want a big number. Use the existing infrastructure available at the ground level. So we have got something called UIDAI, which is a very small number of people, very, very thin line. We work with registrars, so like state governments, post office, banks, LIC, the financial institutions, the NGOs, civil society organizations. We work with them, they are our registrars. And they go on and set up the enrollment mechanism at the last mile. So they go, they work out a price from those agencies. These are private agencies. And those private agencies go and set up the enrollment process at the last mile to collect the enrollment data and send to us. So that is how we say that it's a scalable model. Because doing 1.2 billion and doing 600 million Aadhaar in less than 4 years was a huge task. It was getting into the nanosecond kind of Aadhaar generation. And similarly, how will you generate Aadhaar unless you get the numbers? So the enrollment should come so that you can generate Aadhaar. So you should have an enrollment system which is highly scalable, which can scale as per the demand, not like somebody is pushing it from there. So it was automatically private sector participation at the enrollment agency level, registrars as dispersed as possible. They are available there, they are having their setup there already, like all state bodies. They are having their setup at the last mile. The post office, actually one of the biggest in the world, more than 150,000 postal locations are there in India. So all those are automatically become the front end for the UIDAI. So we did with a synergy, existing infrastructure, and pushing out our own mandate of doing this enrollments.
What is this UDAI?
Sorry? This top one, Unique Identification Authority of India. So it's an acronym UIDAI, Unique ID.
That's a department or organization?
It is an office under Planning Commission. Yeah. This is the office which issued the Aadhaar number. How we wanted this? Because we have made the system so scalable, we have defined a standardized process. So the software which will work on this system is our. The enrollment software is an in-house software, not taken from the shelf. So it was a software designed by in-house team with some IT collaboration. Then we have come out with the ecosystem where we have got certified devices by a third party, certified biometric devices, certified operators, certified supervisors, and a mandated process to receive the data. As far as the data integrity is concerned, as soon the enrollment gets over and a receipt of the enrollment is generated, the enrollment packet gets encrypted. So not even the operator, not even the enrollment agency, and not even in the registrar can do anything with that packet. So it becomes a very, very secured data packet. It may get corrupt, so it is of no use, but nobody can open and take the data. It will be only done at the back end where the UIDAI generate the. Now the process is that we have got a standard process, data transfer. It is processed at our CIDR, Central ID Repository. And then it goes out after the Aadhaar generation, it goes out as a letter sent by the government agency, India Post, to the resident. So the address of the enrollment is very important because a third party is going to deliver it. And the third party will go by the address. They don't know who he is or she is. So they will go and deliver. That means the address is very, very important in that. So this is the process flow. A resident comes, he comes to the center, he gives his demographic and biometric, data get encrypted. It goes to our central ID repository where deduplication happens, the UID is assigned, and even there are some rejections. Rejections may be on account of the data quality, rejections may be on account of the duplicacy. Then the Aadhaar letter gets out and it goes, and for entire thing, for the touch point, we have got an automatic call center, which has got a toll-free number. It has got the email and other kind of things. This is the typical enrollment center. Now you see here, this is the laptop on which the operator works. He has got a system by which he works. This is the iris. This is the slap scanner, we call it, for the fingerprint. Now this is very important. This second monitor is for the resident. Because generally the enrollment centers are working either side by side or in a 90-degree. If I'm getting enrolled, what happens, I was always thinking what the operator is doing. So there is a tendency to look into the screen of the operator, and there is a kind of discomfort at all the time. So what we thought is, let us have another monitor for the resident. So monitor of the resident shows what exactly is being done by the operator. So he need not be uncomfortable. He sees what exactly is happening, whether the name is written correctly, whether the date of birth is written correctly, whether the address is complete, whether the mail ID or the phone number is correctly recorded. And we have kept this in 2 languages, in English and a local language. Actually, India has got a multiple official languages. And each place is very, very attached to that language. Like suppose I stay presently in Karnataka, there is a language called Kannada, which is not Hindi. So the people, they see English data as well as the data in Kannada. And they are able to, many times when they don't know English, they're able to see it in Kannada. And they say, no, this is incorrect, please do it this way, this address should be like this. So we have given that comfort to the resident by giving this second monitor so that he or she can look at it. Now this is where it happens that the person comes, he gets to the help desk, his documents are checked, one of the POA, proof of address or proof of ID. Then he fills up the form, the photo is taken, the iris image, you can see the figure 4. Iris image is like a binocular kind of thing, just kept here. There is an infrared mechanism by which the eye just look into that, it captures the eyes, that iris image. Then the fingerprint capture is there, 442. And then the resident has got an option to review the data. Once the demographic and biometric are captured, a resident has the option to see a screen where entire data is shown to him or her, where they see, yes, everything is correct. And once he says, yes, it is correct, the entire process is authenticated by the operator. Now, operator, we know who he is because he is a certified one. But this is the receipt which gets generated after the enrollment gets complete, and these 2 circled points are the tracking mechanism. Till the Aadhaar is generated, the person resident can track this information. As we are saying that the demographic data quality is very important, so the person is supposed to see this information. Even we kept the margin for the missing biometrics. Like there is a possibility that there is a permanent biometric missing, my finger is not there, this finger. There is a possibility that there is a temporary some problem in my finger which can't be captured, or there is some injury or something. So we have kept a biometric exception clause where the operator can figure out that 1 finger, 2 finger, 1 eye, 2 eyes, or there is a complete bio exception. Very few cases we found that 2 or 3 cases in 1 million where they may have none of the biometrics to be capturable. Like people who are leper, their hands may be, and they are having the eyes are also not there. Like they are blind and eyes are not capturable. Another important point is that iris may be there even if person is blind. Iris is in the front of the eye. This has nothing to do with the visual power of the person. So a person may have the iris even if he is not able to see. So there is a possibility that 2 or 3 people out of a million may not have any of the biometric. So we have kept that full bio-exception and partial bio-exception cases. Then the system knows that this biometric is not to be collected. This is the consent we take for the opening of the account or for sharing the information with the state. Now this is September 29, 2010. The first Aadhaar letter was issued by Prime Minister of India. That too in one of the western states, that is Maharashtra. And today, as I'm telling you, we have come to the 592 million Aadhaar. And if you count the number of days and the number of Aadhaars have been generated, I think as far as Indian standard, it is huge. On the very first time, we had the capability of doing around 50 Aadhaars a day. Now our capacity is 1.5 million per day. We can issue Aadhaar to more than 1.5 million residents a day. So now you see the entire ecosystem. You need more than 1.5 million enrollments to come in so that I can keep on generating 1.5 million. And by this rate, we are already 600 million, 9 months in advance, more than 9 months, 10 months. And if the enrollment rate keeps on continuing, I think people were doubting initially that how will you do 1.2 billion? It's such a mammoth task. But by overachieving the first deadline, I think there is a possibility if the entire ecosystem is well oiled and lubricated to do the job. Now, why this Aadhaar? Unless the system is there to make authentication working and available, Aadhaar is of no use. Just I am having Aadhaar number is just a fancy number, or not even fancy, it is a useless number. So if I'm having an authentication system in place, then only it is useful. So now what we are working on is that Aadhaar authentication process is already on. I can tell you that in India, the financial sector is receiving huge kind of re-engineering. Recently, one of the private sector bank has introduced a paperless opening of account. That means they've got a system which is integrated with their banking software, which they call CBS, Core Banking Solution. So I go, I'm not carrying my Aadhaar number also. I'm not carrying my letter also. I just go, give my Aadhaar number, give the fingerprint. The system will talk to UIDAI backend, will fetch the data because I have given consent to open the account to fetch the data from the UIDAI. So UIDAI gives the photo, name, age, address, and gender. This basic data comes and sits in the system of this bank. And they say there's no entry of the data. The banking system is receiving an electronic copy from UIDAI based on the consent of this prospective customer. And by this, he is able to open the account because the address is through UIDAI, name, photo, age, and the Aadhaar authentication is through UIDAI. So when I give my number and the biometric, once it is approved, once it is authenticated, the data flows to the system. Now we are saying it is a paperless opening of account. The bank is not keeping any physical filling of form. The bank is not keeping any proof of ID, proof of address. The bank is just going on with they are calling it electronic know your customer norm, eKYC. So we are able to do this kind of thing because that possibility is there. There is an online authentication system, there is an online ID system, and the industry and service delivery mechanisms, if they are able to synergize, if they are able to meet, and then they can do this kind of change in the service delivery mechanism. And as I was saying that we will just say yes or no, but when the resident says, yes, I want this delivery, I want this system, so they can come back to that. Now they can do it through various systems. There can be a fingerprint, there can be a OTP, there can be a PC based. There are POS machines, there are mobile apps, there are various kinds of apps. We have got something called developer portal, where the lot of private sector initiatives are happening. People are coming out with their own apps based on the Android, based on other kind of open systems, and they are able to link to this for the purpose of developing new systems for the service delivery agencies, for authentication, for cleaning up the data, for doing the service registry for the new beneficiaries. So these are some of the very country-specific requirement. Like in central government, they've got various schemes. Like, for example, I can say passport, for income tax, for voter identification, for railways, for postal. Then there are some state government local schemes, which are scholarship schemes and all. Then public sector and private sector, microfinance. With this, this is our website, which can give a lot of information. It has got entire detail of the UIDAI right from its inception, what has been done, who have done it, and how much is being done. I think I took a little more time, but any questions? Yeah.
In terms of the infrastructure you need, you gave some details, but I was thinking, if you don't require a physical document, then you are relying on two prerequisites. First is the interoperability of all the systems.
Sorry?
Interoperability of systems, for example, the banking system with
UIDAI, Aadhaar.
Exactly. And even between governmental agencies, there has to be a level of interoperability. So you can share data just by
biometric authentication.
Exactly. And the other thing is you need to spread out the use of these different devices you need to authenticate. Now you mentioned that you could use an application on a cell phone, or you can use some
point of sale
similar to a
devices.
POS, but you would need that in order to
Yeah,
make it work. That's the technological requirement to implement something like this. And then also I think there's some sort of a political, social issue you need to guarantee. Because you said that this information will be encrypted, but maybe there would be some kind of resistance from the users thinking, well, maybe this is part of a surveillance program. If they're using my Gmail account, why are not?
Okay. I got what you are trying. You are saying that there's a lot of partners and stakeholders in the ecosystem. There are various devices, there are various users, and the resident may at times not very confirmed whether his data is properly used. Is that? Mm-hmm. Is that what you are saying?
So you need two things: the appropriate technology, and also people need to rely on this system that's not going to be used for other purposes.
Okay, I can tell one thing regarding the technology is that UIDAI right from day one has gone for the open source architecture. We have not tied up ourselves with any of the vendor logged system. So it is an open ecosystem where the UIDAI is giving the specifications and the stakeholders are trying to meet those specifications and interacting with the UIDAI. So UIDAI is in total control who comes in, what he gets, and what he is not supposed to get. Point one. Point two is that these devices, whatever is coming in this ecosystem, they are also third-party certified. They are not certified by UIDAI. They are not certified by the vendor. They are certified by a third party. We have got in India an organization called STQC, Standardized Testing Quality Certification Agency. It's a Government of India's public sector kind of. So it does the certification of various devices which are coming into the play wherever the systems are working. As regards the system of privacy, the residents having some discomfort of the data getting misused, I know there may be some concern they are having, but from UIDAI perspective, from the organizational perspective, the data which we collect from the resident, just the name, age, address, and gender. This data, we are not doing any profiling when we are issuing the Aadhaar number. That means by looking at the Aadhaar number, you don't know who he is, she is, from where and all. There is no north, south, east, west, no male, female, no literate, no young, no old, nothing of that sort. From a point of view in a lighter vein, may I share more information on the Facebook? And my information on Facebook is known to millions of people, whom even I don't know, and they know me if they want to know. The purpose of India ID mechanism is to reach to the disadvantaged, marginalized group, which do not have any access presently to any of the welfare benefits, or at least few of the welfare benefits, in a proper, targeted, easy, smooth manner. To do that, and that's why I think initially I mentioned that UIDAI is not under Ministry of Home. It is not under any intelligence agency. It is not under any other kind of regulatory mechanism. It is under Planning Commission. So objective is to pass on the benefits of welfare to the needy people. So entire ecosystem is so open and transparent. Everybody can find out. If you look to the website, you can just find out who all are working for us, which are the agencies, what they do, how much they get it out of it. And actually I tell you, per Aadhaar generation, UIDAI spent some $1.5 only, $1.50 total, out of which around $0.6 goes to the state, which is like a registrar, because they are doing the enrollment and all. You won't believe, for per Aadhaar generation at the back end, those vendors, the software companies, we pay them in Indian rupee, 2 point some rupees. If I convert into cents, it will be something like 3-4 cents. This is what we are paying per Aadhaar generation to the people who are actually doing that. They are doing it in a totally isolated, disconnected world when the data comes and get processed. So there is no leakage. It is not connected. And the privacy is being taken care, because for to talk of privacy, I don't have the basic needs. So we are talking of an atmosphere and the environment where the first level of needs to meet, and then we may get into the much more stringent systems where the people will not feel discomfort, if there are some people who feel discomfort. You see?
We're kind of at time. One quick question with one quick answer, and then will you be,
I have to
be respectful of classes that start shortly, but you'll be available afterwards for?
Yeah, for 10 minutes, because I've got a class at 12:45.
Okay, and if not, I'm sure he can make himself available.
But I think we can meet up, not issue.
So I have one question. I want to ask a question. As he told that when there is a public services offered to the citizen in India, there should be a kind of system of connectivity to the main server that identifies information. So is there infrastructure across India that they are connected to internet? Each agency, they have those equipment, authentication, and then their work would be somehow dependent to the connectivity. If there's no connectivity, no service would be.
I think it's a very good question, and that is one of the concern for us also. Like we have got certain pockets which we call dark pockets, but the way it is increasing with the new technology, Wi-Fi and other kind of systems, we have acknowledged this fact that there may be occasions either for the time or for the area that the connectivity is not there. So we have provided a system of a buffered mechanism. So you go to an area which is not properly connected now. So you collect the information, go to a connected point, put it into the system, and it gets authenticated. Our enrollment system is not online. Our enrollment system is offline. We don't need connectivity for enrollment. It is offline, data captured, data encrypted, taken into disk, taken into media, go to the UIDAI personally, send it through the mail, send it through some method, upload it to the SFTP. There are various mechanisms available. So enrollment is not required connectivity. Only for authentication purpose, I need connectivity, and acknowledging this fact of non-availability, we have done that buffered mechanism where I collect the data, keep it in the device, go to a connected point and upload it. It's an issue for us also. You are right. It is a concern to have a universally available service. This is one of the constraints.
All right, thank you very much. And like I said, we'll be available for
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
minutes
Okay,
afterwards.
okay.
Thank you.